basic, quick explanation, 3 examples. If you look at the houses on your right hand side, for example, with a beautiful view, and like Bishop's Court, very upmarket area. So these areas were zoned for white South Africans only. Okay, so only white South Africans could stay there. Group areas. Then we had separate amenities act. What is that? Different beaches for different race groups. For example, Kalk Bay, there was a big sign, white South Africans only. That meant if you were not a white South African and you walk on the beach, you can get arrested. It was illegal. Immorality Act. What is the Immorality Act? South Africans from different race groups couldn't fall in love, marry, start a family. It was illegal. Voting rights. Only less than 10% of the population were white South Africans, only they could vote. So folks, you get an idea what apartheid laws were. Now we jump to the USA. The year is 1963, and in some states there's also racial segregation, and a young lawyer makes a speech and the world pauses. They listen to this lawyer. Have you heard of Martin Luther King Jr.? He makes a speech. I have a dream. I have a dream that one day my little children will live in a society and a country where they are not judged by the color of the skin but by the content of their character. And here in South Africa, a young lawyer, Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, is inspired by this speech, and he speaks out against apartheid, and the world listens to him. And he gets a huge following. He's a powerful speaker, powerful leader. His prison number was 4664. He was the 466th prisoner to go to jail in 1964. 4664. Okay folks, so now Nelson Mandela is in jail and the world forgets about South Africa. He's silenced. The world carries on and apartheid carries on. And South Africa has to wait for 1984 for Desmond Tutu. Because when he returns with his Nobel Prize, Peace Prize from Norway, he makes a speech and he says to the world, do you know we have apartheid here? You cannot allow it. It's against human rights, against human dignity. You have to do something. And the world says, Mr. Tutu, what can we do? He says, why don't you hurt the South African economy? Impose sanctions, and the world did it. I remember you couldn't buy French cars, Swedish cars. This investment took place. Our economy was shrinking and nobody wanted to buy our wine. And eventually in 1989 we get a new president, F.W. de Klerk, and the first thing he does, he visits Nelson Mandela in jail. And he says, Mr. Mandela, I want to release you. You can walk to your freedom tomorrow, but there are a lot of conditions. And Nelson Mandela said, you're wasting your time. I will only walk to my freedom if it's an unconditional release and you end all the apartheid laws. And the next day, all the apartheid laws were ended. And folks, a few months later, Nelson Mandela walked to his freedom. 11 Feb 1990, 32 years ago, he was released unconditionally, and 4 years later we had the first free election in South Africa. All South Africans over the age of 18 could vote. Nelson Mandela became the president of democratic South Africa. Okay, there are your 4 chapters. If you are still awake, well done. Just in time, we have reached the beautiful beach on the left hand side. This is Surfers Corner. There's actually not a lot of surfers out today. There's usually hundreds of them. This is Muizenberg. Some battles were fought here between the British and the Dutch for control of the Cape Colony, but now it's just for surfing. We don't have to fear any warships here. And if you keep looking back, you'll see a lot of surfers in the water. Now folks, now you can see there, if you look at 7 o'clock, all the surfers. We have a world record. It was established here in Muizenberg in 2011. 113 surfers on one wave. 113 surfers on one wave. It was almost followed by the second world record, the most surfers eaten by a great white shark. By the railway line, beautiful view. But I want you to look on the right hand side. Or look at all these mansions here. All these houses here belong to the gold and the diamond mine owners of South Africa in the late 1800s. Cecil Rhodes died in this little house on the right hand side. That's a Rhodes cottage, one of the richest people in the world. So these were all big holiday homes for the rich wine owners. Not wine owners, mine. It's close enough. Folks, that is why this railway line was connected to Johannesburg in the 1880s already. Because their offices were in Johannesburg, so it's a very comfortable way to travel between the offices in Johannesburg and their holiday homes in Muizenberg. between Cape Town and Johannesburg, it was always between Muizenberg and Johannesburg. By the way, Cecil John Rhodes, he had a friend who was inspired in that little holiday home there, sitting on the balcony looking out over the sea. He was inspired to write many chapters of the Jungle Book, Rudyard Kipling. Okay folks, if you want to swim in Cape Town in warm water, remember this is warmer, I'll explain later why it's warmer. We have some tidal pools. And here on the left hand side is St. James Tidal Pool. They are replacing the old rundown changing rooms. They will come and paint it colourful. That swimming pool on the left hand side is a tidal pool. It's high tide. The ocean is cleaning it. And on the low tide it will heat up, and it is salt water, very healthy for you. By the way, we think that shark nets are very cruel. So we only have one shark net here in Cape Town. I'll point it out to you. It's a highest paid job because every morning the guy goes out at 8 o'clock, he puts up the shark net, and 5 o'clock in the afternoon he takes it down. But all the other places we have shark spotters. So what is a shark spotter? Well, if you want to become a shark spotter, they ask 3 questions only at the job interview. 1, do you have a good eyesight? Yes. Do you know what a shark looks like? Yes. Can you start tomorrow? Yes. It's the shortest job interview, but it's a very important job. You have to warn the swimmers or the surfers if you do see a shark. Actually, I did see a shark for the first time last week. I saw the flag was red and we kept on looking. We actually did see a great white shark in the water, so that's actually good that they are back. Okay, now the tidal pool on the left. Okay, what is the temperature, folks? We're not quite in summer yet. The second could get easily 28, 32 degrees in Cape Town. January, February, those are the really nice warm months. Now you see this, there are 2 surfers in the water on your left. Now why are they surfing here if there are great white sharks? Because they realize there is a lot of seaweed. We call it a kelp forest. And sharks don't like seaweed. It's like a natural shark net. You'll also see the shark flag on your left hand side. Now folks, this is a sign. Some of you will be able to see it. It shows a green flag with an image of a shark. That means it's safe. I've never seen a green flag. The black flag means the shark spotter can't see much, so if you are eaten by a great white shark, your family cannot sue the shark spotter. The white flag means they have seen one, and the red one is the one we saw last week. It means there is a shark in the water. So that's the white flag and the red. I'm a bit confused about the white one, because when you see white, it usually means peace, you know, it's a good sign, but it actually is a danger sign. Folks, can I see who likes shopping? Only 2 people. Well folks, then you have to return. If you like shopping, you have to return to this place. It's called Kalk Bay, K-A-L-K. Look to your left, look to your right. You can buy anything you can think of. You can dream about it, you'll find it here in Kalk Bay. Also a lot of good. You can actually start off here with breakfast and then take a break from shopping and have lunch. Then take a break from shopping and have dinner. So kalk is also the Dutch word for lime. In the 1600s, when the Dutch arrived in Cape Town, they needed to use all the material that was readily available to build their houses, and they used the thatch, that was the reeds that grew in Cape Town, for the roofs, and they burned shells from the seashore in fine kilns into a fine powder. That is lime or kalk. Okay, now if you look to your left, you'll see it's a very important part of the economy of Cape Town. Since we don't have platinum, diamonds, gold, we have natural beauty. If you have natural beauty, you have tourism, you have the film industry. We are regarded as the Hollywood of Africa. We have wine and we have seafood. Now folks, here on the left, this is Kalk Bay Harbour. This is where a lot of our ships, our fish are caught by these little fishing boats. If you look at a lot of the fishing boats are out We'll probably see them at Cape Point returning with their catches. The larger boats with the cages, those are for catching lobster, and the small boats with little cubicles in it, that is for catching fish. The Harbour House Hotel restaurant, Kalk Bay. Speak to the manager. You say to him, I want to book the proposal table. He will know it's a table on the balcony, the private one with the best views. Very romantic. And when you ask, please marry me, and she says yes, the manager will run to your table with a good bottle of champagne, it's free. If she says no, the manager will run to your table with something stronger. If there's anybody in the bus that wants a close encounter with a great white shark without the cage, you have to swim across the bay on the left. This is called Fish Hook Bay or Fish Hook Beach. This is where all the shark attacks in Cape Town take place. For some reason, only here. In 2008 was the first attack. A lady went for a swim, morning swim. Fishing boat came in, she was the wrong place, wrong time. It attracted the attention of a 5-meter great white shark. She was eaten. They only found a swimming cap. Now folks, I always believed that you only find sharks in specific, but this is where all the shark attacks have taken place. Now at the end of the houses, when you look back at 7 o'clock, you'll be able to see the shark net comes out off 5 o'clock every afternoon. It's floating with yellow buoys if you look back there. The only shark net in the Western Cape. Now folks, as we get closer to the penguins, I have to warn you, everyone needs to be prepared for the following. Our little penguins are extremely cute, so be prepared for that. Okay, I have warned you. Now, they are very small. They are about 2 feet tall. Why are they so small? Because it gets very warm here. If the large penguins, like the emperor penguins, they want to survive here. Now, what I like most about the penguins is when they fall in love, they stay together for life. There's no divorce. Average lifespan of a wild penguin, 15 years, which is quite a lot for a bird. But one guy in captivity made it to 30. So the females, the male and the female, stay together for life. A few days after breeding, she will lay first of only 2 eggs, clutch of 2 eggs only. Now after 42 days, let's start at the beginning. What is so special about our penguins that you will see today is it's extraordinary for them to breed on land. They like to breed on safety of island, being surrounded by water. So from Cape Town all the way to our neighboring country, Namibia in the north, that's where most of the penguins you will find on the islands. In 1983 we found a breeding pair of penguins on the beach here, and the dogs and the cats and the humans realized that these are fearless little animals. Now folks, a few days after mating, the female will lay the first egg, and 48 hours later she will lay the second egg. Why is that? Because exactly 42 days later of incubation, the first egg will hatch, and 48 hours later the second egg hatch. So nature has given mom and dad 48 hours to become experienced parents. Now for the first 30 days, the chicks are very vulnerable. They are small. You will see there are some big seagulls, we call them Kalk gulls. They're opportunistic. They will fly away with the eggs or with the chicks. So mom or dad stays behind to protect the 2 chicks while the other parent goes out to hunt, because chicks are very hungry. They return 1 or 2 days later. They've caught or swallowed pilchards and sardines, and then they regurgitate the food. After 30 days, the chicks have grown so fast they are the same physical size as the adults. Then mom and dad can both leave the nest, leave the chicks behind. and instinctively the chicks will get together, safety of numbers. So when you go down onto the boardwalk and you see on the sand 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chicks, juveniles, you know they're older than 1 month.